Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball star. She's a walking highlight reel and a nightmare for defenders. From logo threes to ankle-breaking crossovers, she's redefined dominance in women's college basketball. In this video, we're diving into 20 unforgettable moments where Clark absolutely humiliated her opponents on the court. These aren't just wins, they're iconic performances that left fans in awe and defenders in shock. Whether it was a buzzer beater, a record-breaking night, or a play that went viral, Clark made sure the world was watching. So, buckle up, because you're about to witness pure basketball brilliance from the Queen of Clutch. 1. Caitlin Clark's Logo 3 versus South Carolina. In a defining moment of her college career, Caitlin Clark faced off against the undefeated South Carolina team and immediately made her presence known. Just seconds into the game, Clark pulled up from the logo and nailed a deep three-pointer, stunning both the crowd and her opponents. That shot wasn't just a basket, it was a statement. She followed it up by putting up a 40-point triple-double, dancing through defenders and orchestrating every offensive possession. Her ability to shoot from practically anywhere on the court left defenders clueless and fans on their feet. South Carolina's top-tier defense couldn't contain her, as she found angles to score that seemed impossible. Clark not only led her team to victory, but shattered expectations. That performance humiliated the Gamecocks' defense and sent shockwaves through the basketball world, proving she could single-handedly dismantle the most dominant team in the country. 2. Clark's back-to-back 40-point games in March Madness. Caitlin Clark made NCAA history by recording back-to-back 40-point games in March Madness, a feat that showcased her scoring genius. In those games, she put on a show of pure offensive artistry: step-back threes, crossovers, floaters, and bullet passes. Her vision and basketball IQ overwhelmed opponents who simply had no answers. Every time she stepped on the court, defenders looked helpless as Clark operated with laser focus. She turned elite defenses into practice squads, putting up numbers usually seen in video games. The pressure of March Madness didn't faze her. Instead, she elevated her performance to an untouchable level. This consecutive domination left fans speechless and opponents in disbelief. Her performance made headlines and further elevated her status as a generational player. The back-to-back 40-point games weren't just wins. They were total basketball masterclasses that humiliated her competition and etched her name deeper into college basketball history. 3. Breaking the NCAA single-season scoring record. When Caitlin Clark broke the NCAA single-season scoring record, it wasn't just a personal milestone. It was a display of unrelenting dominance. With each game, she chipped away at the record, all while being double and triple teamed. When the moment came, she did it in style, knocking down a three-pointer in front of a roaring crowd. Her opponent that night was left scrambling as Clark moved with ease and precision. It wasn't just that she broke the record, it was how she did it. She torched defenders, made impossible shots look routine, and maintained complete control of the game's pace. Her scoring spree embarrassed defenses and highlighted her unmatched offensive arsenal. The record-breaking moment was filled with emotion, but it also marked the humiliation of every team that tried and failed to stop her. That performance served as a reminder. When Caitlin Clark is locked in, there's nothing anyone can do to stop her. 4th. Dismantling LSU in the Elite 8 rematch. In a highly anticipated Elite 8 rematch against LSU, Caitlin Clark delivered one of her most iconic performances. With the world watching, she erupted for over 40 points, hitting deep three after deep three. LSU threw everything they had at her: traps, switches, full court pressure. But nothing worked. Clark danced through defenders, pulling up from NBA range and drilling shots that sent the arena into a frenzy. She silenced the critics and humbled a team that had previously knocked her out. Her precise ball handling, court vision, and lightning-fast release overwhelmed LSU's defense. It wasn't just a win, it was revenge. She took over every possession, and her confidence was infectious. LSU players looked frustrated and defeated as Clark carved them up repeatedly. That game wasn't just about advancing to the next round. It was about redemption and complete domination. Caitlin humiliated a powerhouse, and reminded everyone why she's one of the greatest talents in women's basketball. 5. Destroying Michigan with a near triple-double against Michigan, Caitlin Clark put on a clinic that left both the team and their fans in awe. She finished the game with nearly a triple-double, tallying over 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists. But it wasn't just the stats, it was the way she played. Her court vision was otherworldly, finding teammates with no-look passes and threading the needle between defenders. When Michigan tried to close out on her threes, she drove past them effortlessly. When they sagged off, she rained down shots from long range. It was a complete humiliation for Michigan's defense. They were caught in a whirlwind of Clark's skill set, unable to stop her scoring and equally powerless to defend her playmaking. Her command of the game was so strong that even the commentators were left speechless. That night, she didn't just win. She embarrassed Michigan on every level, reminding everyone that facing Caitlin Clark is like trying to stop a storm. 6. Silencing the home crowd against Indiana. In a high-pressure game against Indiana on their home turf, Caitlin Clark embraced the hostile environment and silenced the crowd with her dominant performance. Every time Indiana fans tried to rattle her, she responded with another dagger three-pointer. She fed off the energy, using it as fuel to dominate both ends of the court. Clark dropped more than 30 points, with a barrage of deep shots and fast-break finishes that left defenders in the dust. As the game progressed, the crowd went from roaring to stunned silence. Her confidence never wavered, and she appeared unfazed by the noise or pressure. Indiana's defensive schemes failed repeatedly, and her ability to break down their defense with ease was a total embarrassment. Caitlin turned a home court advantage into a haunted house for her opponents. By the final whistle, it was clear. Clark had completely owned the night, and Indiana never stood a chance. 7. Putting on a show against Minnesota. In a dazzling game against Minnesota, Caitlin Clark turned the court into her personal stage. From the first possession, she controlled the pace and hit shots from every angle. Whether it was off the dribble, in transition, or step-back threes, Clark delivered an offensive masterclass. She poured in over 35 points, while also dishing out 9 assists, creating highlight after highlight. Minnesota's defense looked helpless, trying to stop her, constantly a step behind. Her range was limitless, and her rhythm was unbreakable. Clark even hit a buzzer beater to end the half, which sent the crowd into a frenzy and left her opponents demoralized. It was the kind of performance that made headlines and lit up social media. Her dominance humiliated Minnesota's defensive game plan and showcased the gap between her and everyone else on the court. That night, Clark wasn't just playing basketball. She was conducting a symphony of skill, confidence, and flair. 8. Dominating Penn State with 10 threes against Penn State, Caitlin Clark delivered one of her most explosive performances, burying 10 three-pointers in a single game. She torched the defense from the perimeter, launching shots from way beyond the arc and hitting them with ease. Penn State tried switching defenders, doubling her, and even trapping her off screens, but none of it worked. Clark's shooting was automatic, and her confidence soared with each make. Every time she touched the ball, the crowd buzzed with anticipation, knowing something magical was about to happen. By the end of the game, she had dropped over 35 points, most of them from long range. Her shooting barrage humiliated Penn State's defense, exposing every weakness and leaving their players shaking their heads. It was a moment of complete basketball dominance. Caitlin's performance didn't just win the game, it embarrassed the opposition, proving again that when she gets hot, there's absolutely nothing anyone can do to stop her. 9. Cooking Georgia in the NCAA tournament. In a crucial NCAA tournament matchup, Caitlin Clark took on Georgia and delivered a performance that left no doubt about her elite status. She scored over 30 points and added multiple assists, controlling the flow of the game from start to finish. Georgia threw aggressive defenders at her, but she carved them up with ease, dribbling through traps, creating space for her shot, and making pinpoint passes. Her step-back threes were unstoppable, and she hit several from deep range that sent the arena into chaos. Georgia's game plan collapsed under Clark's brilliance, and their defenders were left chasing shadows. Every possession was a new opportunity for Clark to shine, and she didn't disappoint. She made Georgia look like they didn't belong on the same court, humiliating them with her poise and skill. That game was more than a win. It was a message to every team in the tournament. Stop Caitlin Clark, or prepare to be embarrassed. 10. Exploding against Ohio State in Big Ten play. Caitlin Clark's game against Ohio State during Big Ten play was a showcase of her all-around dominance. She exploded for nearly 40 points, blending her scoring with elite-level playmaking. From the first whistle, she had complete control, draining three-pointers and slicing through defenders with tight handles. Her pace dictated the entire game, and Ohio State's defense couldn't keep up. They tried multiple matchups, but nothing worked. Clark was in her bag, pulling up from deep, hitting floaters in the lane, and finding open teammates with laser-sharp passes. Her ability to score in bunches humiliated Ohio State's defense, which was left scrambling for answers. Every time they tried to adjust, she adapted quicker, staying one step ahead. By the time the game ended, Clark had not only won the game, she had completely dismantled her opponent's confidence. That performance was one more example of why she's feared across the league. Caitlin Clark doesn't just win, she dominates. 11. Blowing past Rutgers with a double-double. Caitlin Clark faced Rutgers and wasted no time asserting her dominance. She racked up a smooth double-double with over 25 points and 10 assists. Her command of the court was unmatched. Every possession went through her, and she turned it into gold. Rutgers tried to press her, but Clark blew past defenders with ease. Her passing was on point, slicing through their defense and setting her teammates up for easy buckets. On top of that, her deep shooting had Rutgers defenders stuck in no man's land, unsure whether to step up or drop back. Either choice was wrong. Clark punished them regardless. The humiliation came in the form of broken ankles, wide-open shots, and stunned reactions. Rutgers was never in the game, not really. Clark's performance left them scrambling and searching for answers that never came. She didn't just beat Rutgers, she outclassed them in every aspect of the game. 12. Humbling Wisconsin with a 30-point night against Wisconsin, Caitlin Clark delivered a clinical takedown, scoring 30-plus points and keeping her foot on the gas all game long. From the opening tip, she showed no mercy, drilling threes from deep, crossing up defenders, and slashing through the lane with finesse. Wisconsin's defensive rotations were too slow, their pressure too soft, and their adjustments too late. Clark exploited every weakness with precision. One play summed it up perfectly. She faked out her defender, spun around another, and finished with a smooth layup. Pure humiliation. She made the game look too easy, as if she were scrimmaging, not competing. Her confidence was sky high, and her teammates fed off her energy. Wisconsin's players looked deflated by the second half, overwhelmed by Clark's relentless attack. That night was a reminder that when Caitlin is locked in, it's not just a tough matchup, it's a basketball masterclass where the opponent becomes the backdrop to her greatness. 13. Dismantling Maryland with deep-range mastery. Caitlin Clark's showdown with Maryland was a three-point demolition job. She sank deep shots with such consistency that Maryland's defense was paralyzed. Step up, she drives. Sag off, she shoots. She ended the night with nearly 40 points, a handful of assists, and a trail of stunned defenders in her wake. Her shot selection bordered on disrespectful, in the best way possible. Maryland had no answers, and by the final buzzer, it was clear. Caitlin Clark didn't just defeat them, she embarrassed them thoroughly. 14. Shredding Michigan State with flashy handles. Caitlin Clark's game against Michigan State was a highlight reel from start to finish. She dropped over 30 points, but it was how she did it that humiliated the Spartans. Her ball handling was elite. Behind-the-back crossovers, step-back threes, and dribble drives that left defenders frozen. Michigan State's game plan unraveled quickly as Clark toyed with their defense. Her performance wasn't just dominant, it was flashy, entertaining, and downright humiliating for a defense that simply couldn't keep up with her pace and creativity. 15. Tearing up Illinois with precision passing. While Caitlin Clark is often praised for her scoring, her performance against Illinois proved she's just as deadly with her passing. She ended the game with over 25 points and 12 assists, orchestrating the offense like a maestro. It was one of those games where Clark barely broke a sweat, and yet, Illinois was left completely dismantled and defeated, both on the scoreboard and mentally. 16. Cooking Nebraska with a buzzer-beater 3 against Nebraska, Caitlin Clark's killer instinct was on full display when she nailed a jaw-dropping buzzer-beater three-pointer. With the clock winding down, she took the ball past half court, danced around her defender, and launched a high-arching shot from way beyond the arc. Swish. Game over. It was the kind of moment that gets replayed forever and leaves the opposing team haunted by what just happened. 17. Destroying Drake with a personal best start. Early in the season, Caitlin Clark set the tone against Drake with one of her most explosive first-half performances ever, proving once again that when she's on, the opponent's only hope is survival. And on that day, Drake didn't even come close. 18. Outclassing Western Illinois with historic efficiency. Caitlin Clark's game against Western Illinois was all about surgical precision. It was a cold, clinical takedown, basketball brilliance at its best. She didn't just beat them, she embarrassed them by playing perfect basketball. 19. Crippling Purdue with transition brilliance. Caitlin Clark used her speed and vision to completely cripple Purdue in a fast-paced battle that she turned into her own playground. Clark embarrassed Purdue with her pace, decision-making, and killer instinct. It was a complete teardown, executed with speed, skill, and relentless pressure. 20. Humiliating Colorado in Sweet 16 showdown. In a pivotal Sweet 16 matchup, Caitlin Clark turned up the intensity against Colorado and left no doubt about her dominance. She exploded for over 30 points, breaking down their defense possession after possession. If you enjoyed this breakdown of her greatest highlights, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more epic basketball content, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Let us know in the comments, what's your favorite Caitlin Clark performance? Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more jaw-dropping plays from the biggest names in basketball. See you next time.